Okay, so let's do a roll call, make sure everybody is back. Dolores Trujillo present. Ken?
Ken Martin, present.
Susan? Susan? Lolita? Lolita? Okay, Lolita's not back yet. Mary?
Mary Fagan, present.
Betty?
Elizabeth Woods, present.
Annie Melda?
Elda, present.
And is Lolita back? Okay. Well, we have a quorum. So we can go ahead and start. Next item on the agenda is the administrative report.
Thank you, Dolores. I will go ahead and start with my administrative report. I will try to make it as brief as possible because the last agenda items have ran pretty long. So I just wanted to let you guys know that our Brn Fund is currently stable with a 6.5 month operating reserve. That through state fiscal year month 8, the BRN has received slightly under $76 million in revenue and had slightly under $55 million in expenditures, and is currently has around a $35.5 million reserve for economic uncertainties. The reason that we do have a reserve right now is due to the almost 15% budget cut during the COVID-19 pandemic and salary savings from hard to recruit and high turnover positions. Do you guys have any questions on the fund before I move on to the next few items? Okay, so no questions on the fund. Just a quick update. Our license verification process has now gone online, and it is a completely online process. There's no more need to mail in a check or submit a paper request for out-of-state verifications. So that is a new process that we are working on right now and was implemented last month. There were some opportunities that we still had to address that showed us that there was improvements that need to be made on that process, but at least it is moving forward, and we are working on that. Additionally, tomorrow I will be meeting with NCSBN to let them know about our verification process and talk to them about what the other states will need in order for us to assist them with expediting that. Another process with our licensing that is being updated right now and worked on is a online progress bar that will allow all of our applicants to know where they're at in the review process. We are in the testing phase. We will be entering the testing phase in the next week with the intent to roll it out to the new exam applicants for June, as long as testing goes well. That will let them know that their application was received, their fee was received, that it has, if it has deficiencies in fingerprints or their photo or transcripts, that will all be very clear and allow for direct links to be done, be accessed by the applicant. That is separate from our Breeze system. However, it communicates with our Breeze system. So those are just some of the things that we're doing to kind of help our applicants through the licensing process. Additionally, we are looking at assisting our deans and directors by changing the way that their students apply for their initial exam license. And I'm working with DCA's OIS on that as well to get that moved along. That should really speed up that license by exam process for our new grads and greatly decrease the amount of work that our deans and directors in the schools have to do to move that forward. We continue to work forward with reaching the goals set forth for us in the recommendations from the California State Auditor for publishing a clinical facilities list that I've seen some of the work that has been done And that is in the testing phase right now. And so that should be finalized with the testing phase. I believe our IT staff are wrapping that up right now. And that should go to the live within about a week or so. I don't foresee that taking much longer. We do have a lot of data entry that has to be done. We did receive almost 1,300 clinical facility forms that will need to be data entered into that so that we can have a robust system for that. And then that would allow us to meet recommendations, 3 or 4 of the recommendations simultaneously from the CSA audit for the pre-licensure audit that we did. Next week is our sunset meeting. Our second sunset hearing. They did move the time from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 19th at 1 p.m. We did send out a listserv message today, letting everybody know that this is scheduled. It will also be posted on our website on the front page. And then we will send that out to all staff as well to ensure that everybody is aware that our hearing is next week. So that is where I'm at for a real quick EO report. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
I don't see any questions. All right. I don't have anything to report out on the administrative committee. Ken, do you have anything to report out on?
No, I do not.
So Reza, do we take this to public comment?
Technically, even though it was just an informational report, technically the acts as each agenda item. So a quick public comment check wouldn't hurt, just to hide the formalities.
Okay, it's not anything that we need to vote on, correct?
Oh, it didn't seem to me like there was a vote necessary.
So BRN moderator, can you open up public comment, please?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Board President Trujillo, there are no public requests for comments. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, thank you. Okay. Move on to the next agenda item, item 7.0, report of the Nursing Practice Committee. And this is Betty. 7.1, discussion and possible action, APRN Advisory Committee to request to the Nursing Practice Committee to move forward proposed regulations pertaining to Business and Professions Code Section 2837.103 and AB 890. Betty?
Let's mute myself. Good morning. This is Betty Woods, and I chair the Nursing Practice Committee, which in the agenda isn't listed correctly, but that's all right. We're going to be discussing AB 890 that was signed into law on January 1st. and how to formulate a plan and a process for the specific transition to practice in that language. And Mitch Erickson and Garrett Chan is with us this morning, and they're going to be speaking on this agenda item. Eric and Garrett, are you on? Jeanette Wackerly, are you on?
Good morning.
Mitch is on. I'm sorry. Garrett Chan is not. And hold on, let me see if Jeanette is here.
Can't seem to move my screen.
Jeanette, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Okay. Jeanette and Mitch are on. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Mitch, you're going to be giving the discussion on this item?
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Elizabeth. And good morning, board members. So I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. One is that the purpose of this discussion item was not to talk about what transition to practice is and how it will be defined by NPAC. That is deferred to NPAC. The purpose of this agenda item was to encourage the board members who sit on the practice committee to utilize and access the BRN resources at their disposal, which would include licensees as well as public members through various resources that they have access to help formulate their own view in addition to what the NPAC members will advise and recommend to the practice committee. Because obviously there are a number of stakeholders involved, and I think it's wise for the practice committee board members to utilize all of the various points of view that they have access to. I had, based on a previous board meeting, there was a request by Dr. Mary Fagan for a resource list for statewide potential individuals who could assist the practice committee board members. And I did forward that both to Loretta as well as to Dr. Fagan. So you have that. And that there are no public members on that resource list. So those would have to come from other BRN resources. But that's the only purpose. It was not for, the advisory committee was not involved in any desire to formulate an opinion and or define transition to practice, because as I mentioned, that is deferred to the newly formed NPAC. In response to an earlier question by President Trujillo around the focus of the APRN Advisory Committee as it relates specifically to AB 890, it was been primarily the focus only because it was in advance of the NPAC being formed, as well as beginning its deliberations around implementation of the legislation. That's really the only reason. I do want to point out that in, you mentioned past meeting agendas, and in the most recent one on February the 4th, only 2 of the 8 items on that agenda were specifically related to AB 890 of the 8. And it is, and CNSs, CRNAs, as well as CNMs have all been involved in bringing forward issues related to their public practice and how it impacts public safety to our agendas in past meetings. And all of those have, we've been working on all of those in addition to AB 890. But that's the only thing I needed to really speak to in regards to this particular agenda item.
I need a bit of clarification on what exactly you're looking for from the Nursing Practice Committee. It sounds like you're looking for particular names of nurse practitioners that should have input into this?
No, the purpose was that those board members who sit on the practice committee to utilize and access the various resources from the public as well as licensees to help guide and formulate your own viewpoints on the recommendations that are put forward by NPAC to the practice committee.
Okay. And you said Mary had provided you with some of that information?
Dr. Fagan had requested it, and I forwarded that list to her and Loretta, and I'm assuming Loretta shared that with the practice committee board members or committee members.
Oh,
Yeah, Betty, in the meeting, there was a recommendation from Mitchell, as well as I think in public comment, that in using our responsibilities as the nursing practice committee to the extent possible that we would utilize experts. And I just wanted to understand the experts that were being potentially proposed. So that was sent to me and to Loretta.
so are you suggesting, Mary, that we should be speaking to that in a particular meeting or off?
I just think, Betty, I'm not quite sure what is going to be coming to the nursing practice committee from the Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee. So, and what decision making that we're going to have, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like as we move forward. But just that consideration that things that are coming to us, if there's a decision or a recommendation we need to make, that we may want to consider looking for some additional broader expertise,
Okay.
just to have a better understanding.
All right.
I think the idea is, as sort of as Dr. Fagan is suggesting, is that you have your own lens in which to look at those recommendations through as practice committee board members.
All right.
This is Reza. Just a quick thing I wanted to throw out there, just for information, since not all might know this. Yesterday, Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee had a meeting, and they discussed having a stakeholders meeting. So a special meeting of the NPAC that is specifically being convened to invite any interested stakeholders to make comments about AB 890 and the implementation of it, to kind of guide from a very early point in the process the formation of regulations and things. So I thought that kind of tied into Mitch's comment about utilizing all of the resources and sources of information out there.
So something like that been set up, or it's going to be set up, or I guess I'm not sure.
It's in the process. So yesterday, that committee decided to go forwards with setting something up like that. And so I think it was discussed that in July seemed like a good time frame. So board staff are going to be working on kind of putting that together. It'll be a noticed meeting of the Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee, but kind of a special meeting that's specifically going to be focused on that, receiving input.
And you're certainly welcome to forward that resource list to however that unfolds in terms of the stakeholder meeting. I would definitely encourage perhaps more public participation so that there's better public representation on whatever those stakeholder meetings appear, so it's not just licensees.
Yeah, so Mitch, I can provide some clarification with that. So I did mention earlier today that there was going to be a meeting scheduled for July for the NPAC committee. That meeting will be publicly noticed, and it will go through that same process that I did explain, where we put it on our website. We share it out to anybody that subscribes to our website through the listserv. It also goes out onto our 3 social media accounts. And additionally, that is shared out through others as well. We did get yesterday a very robust public comment period. And I'm sure you've witnessed today we've had a very robust public comment period as well. So that is happening and that will occur. In regards to the list that you did send to Mary and myself, I am not able to share that out because if I were to share that out to the other committee members, that would be serial communication. Therefore, when we go to the next agenda committee meeting and post materials, I can post that information publicly, and at that point, it would be shared out. So I want to make sure that people do not think that I'm withholding information or not doing what is requested of me. There are processes that I have to follow. So thank you very much.
And those board members who are public members, certainly I'm sure have access to their own resources within the communities in order to encourage greater public participation. And I had, unless there's any other questions or discussion, that was all I had to contribute to this particular agenda item.
Yeah, I have a question about it, Mitch.
Sure.
On this meeting that you're looking forward to in July, stakeholders meeting, I think you called it. Are you expecting the nursing practice committee to be at that meeting, or members of the nursing practice committee, or myself to be at that meeting?
I think Raisa was referencing the NPAC stakeholder meetings, not the APR and advisory committee meeting will be separate from that.
Right.
Yes, that is correct. The APR and advisory committee is not the stakeholders committee. The stakeholders meeting is specific requests from the NPAC committee to clear up any possible confusion that's occurring right now.
All right.
And I think part of the question is whether the members of the nursing practice committee ought to be at the stakeholders meeting. If so, it would only be as observers and not as participants. So if that's speaking to the members of the nursing practice committee.
And Raisa, I'm assuming all of the same rules would apply, that if there's going to be a committee member on an existing committee member present at those particular meetings and making comment, that they be the sole representative and not having multiple members from another committee appear as though it's a unposted public meeting.
Are you talking about having other, like a number of members from the APR and advisory committee present?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's something that we can talk offline about that. It
Right.
has to do, I think, a little bit with the issue that was discussed at one point earlier today about inadvertently getting too many members of the APR and advisory committee together in one place discussing issues about, even though they're kind of discussing it through the forum of the NPAC committee meeting. We don't want to inadvertently set up an unnoticed meeting of the APR advisory committee. So that's just for clarification, that's what the issue is, but we can talk about that offline and make sure we don't run into any inadvertent violations.
And to provide further clarification, that is why the NPAC committee did vote to publicly notice that this would be their NPAC committee that would have the stakeholder meeting, so that all of the NPAC members could be present and interact with the stakeholders as to not violate any Bagley-Keene issue.
So this is just information that you're giving us today. Do you expect us to do something, Mitch?
Yeah, it's just, it's an encouragement of BRN board members such as yourself and others who sit on the practice committee to just to utilize and access those resources that I mentioned previously when they're publicly available.
Okay. All right. I don't think that we have to do anything more with this unless somebody has a question about it. Any questions from the board members?
Mitch, this is Lori. I do have one question. I want to make sure that we've covered everything that was brought forth from the practice committee meeting that was supposed to come forth to the board. It seems like this report is slightly different than what came forth to practice. I want to make sure that nothing is missed. I'm trying to access meeting minutes to make sure that everything was covered, but I'm not able to right now. So I just want to make that clear that what was presented in practice is the same as coming forward to board right now.
Yes, there was. I'm trying to walk the fine line of not impinging upon the work of the MPAC committee, but yeah, the motion was actually in 8.0 in the previous minutes, and it states specifically that the language directly from 8890 under the 2837.101 regarding transition to practice, by removing the possibility of adding any additional limitations to transition to practice requirements beyond those already listed in the legislation. So in other words, issues around practice setting, for example.
And are you wanting an action from that? Or are you striking that now that it might be a potential conflict with what the MPAC committee is doing?
Yeah, I think I would like to strike that so that we're not impacting their work.
Thank you for that clarification.
I think the reason it came up is there was a comment from, I believe it was a plastic surgeon who made a public comment that they felt that their practice setting was not within the purview of a clinical practice setting in terms of transition to practice or independent transition to practice.
And that was during the APRN committee, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
And these minutes will go forward. I mean, the NTAC members can read these minutes and their future discussions and take under consideration.
So it sounds like there needs to be some more discussions and work done over this whole transition.
And I suspect that you as a practice committee member and other board members, as well as the presentations by MPAC, will definitely be addressing that issue since it's in regulation.
All right. But at the present moment, we're just collecting information and will be updated as things go along.
Correct.
All right. And there's nothing that you want from the nursing practice committee at that time other than to be following this along and.
Correct. There's no motion on the table right now that I would encourage the practice committee to take.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board members? Do we need to open this up to a public comment? Reza, do we need to open this up? Do we need to open this up to public comment?
Technically, yes. Is this 7.1 or 7.2 or is it both?
7.1, I believe.
1, okay. Okay, yeah, I think turning to public comment would be good.
Okay. Okay, can we open it up for public comment then, please?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Woods, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Okay, then we'll be moving to the next item, which is 7.2. And that has to do, and Jeanette Wackerly, are you on the phone there?
I'm here, Betty, but I'm stuck on my screen. Mark, can you move 7.2 to my screen? I think I'm in the directory.
What do you mean by move it to your screen?
How do I get to the attachments? I'm not there.
Are you viewing the,
I'm viewing the board meeting 7.1, 7.2, report on the nurse practice committee.
okay, if you're looking at the slide,
No slide. It's just
You
one
can't-
thing.
yeah, one page, that's correct.
I need the pages that were attached that give me the name of the schools that are being presented. I don't have it.
Hold on 1 second, we'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just lost mine also for some reason.
This is not good.
I had them here and all of a sudden they disappeared. What happened?
I've been stuck in this screen.
Oh, I had it on the screen here and I was just trying to. Okay. all
Do I
right.
have to go out of here, Mark, to get to my email?
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Jeanette,
yes,
you would
you
have
can.
to minimize your screen so that you
Minimize
can
it.
access the email.
I minimized it and I can't, it's still too big.
Well, let me, mine is coming back up here so I can read it off for you if that is helpful.
Betty, I think you're going to have to present it if you can see it.
That's, yeah, I'm trying to get it back on my screen for some reason. It disappeared.
Mark,
Betty,
should I
this
go all
is
the way
Lori.
out?
Huh?
I can help you guys with this item. So
Sure,
on,
wonderful.
agenda item 7.2 is discussion and possible action for clinical practice experiences required for nurse practitioner students enrolled in a non-California based nurse practitioner education program. With in compliance with CCR 1486, out-of-state nurse practitioner schools are required to provide proof that they have met our regulatory standards so that their students who are enrolled in their out-of-state programs can complete their clinical experiences for their nurse practitioner programs here in California. These schools were presented to the practice committee last month. That is Clarkson College, Massachusetts College, Nebraska Methodist College, St. Mary's University, University of Michigan, University of South Alabama. Below each one of them does state the specific category that they're asking for approval of, such as psychiatric mental health, family nurse practitioner, etc. So they have all met the rules and regulations that are outlined and are put forth today here for your approval for them to be allowed to do clinical practice for their out-of-state nurse practitioner programs in the state of California.
Thank you, Roy.
I have it back online here also. And Ken has been working very diligently with these universities to get this information and has gone over it. And from what I understand, Jeanette, is that you're just recommending that we go along with, that we accept these.
They've met all the requirements. Their checkoff sheet is there. They've met all the requirements of 1486. And so we're asking the board to approve them. And after they're approved, they will be going onto the BRN website for the public to see.
Okay, is there any questions from the board about this whole, this issue? And we need to open it up for public comment, Teresa? No questions?
Yes, technically each agenda item. So occasionally we can combine agenda items, but technically each agenda item requires a public comment period.
Let's open it up for public question or comment, please.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Emily Bentley would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi, this is Emily Bentley, Director of Clinical Affairs from the University of South Alabama College of Nursing. I would like to thank the California Board of Nursing for consideration of our programs, and I'm available to take questions.
Thank you, Emily. Committee Chair Woods, there are no other requests for public comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, thank you. Okay, so I would make the recommendation that we accept all of these colleges and do I have to state it in a different way? They've been vetted and they're all acceptable, and I think we should accept them.
Betty, I second.
Second, yes, go ahead, sorry.
This is Dolores. I second you.
Okay. No questions?
Would you like to take the vote, Betty?
Yes, I would. Woods votes yes.
Ken,
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan,
Susan votes yes.
Jovita,
Dominguez votes yes.
Mary,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Imelda,
Imelda Ceja Vázquez votes yes.
and Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
All right, that passes. And I think that is the end of our nursing practice meeting. So we can go on to the next agenda item.
Okay, Jovita,
Thank you. So our next agenda, this is Jovita Dominguez, is 8.1, and it's the discussion and possible action on whether to accept recommendation for ratification of minor curriculum revision and clinical agency or facility approvals and acknowledge receipt of program progress reports.
Jovita, this is
Yes.
Lori. I'm going to ask for Dr. Mary Ann McCarthy to be elevated, as she will assist you as the liaison for this committee to move through these agenda items.
I so appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Board moderator is, oh, I see that she's up. Thank you. Board moderator, can you help Dr. Mary Ann McCarthy unmute? She is having some difficulties.
She is unmuted.
Okay, while our board moderator works with getting her elevated, I will cover this agenda item as well. Thank you, Jovita. So to discuss items 8.1.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can now. Thank you, Mary Ann. I don't have to continue.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Great.
I don't know what happened. I just kept switching things until it happened. I'm very sorry. Good afternoon, board members and Chair Dominguez. I'm Mary Ann McCarthy, nursing education consultant and liaison to the Education and Licensing Committee. I first want to let you know that I'm going to be presenting many programs today, and I thank you for your patience in advance. As we transition after the retirement of Wayne Boyer and Audrey Caraway, I'm going to talk way too much today, so I appreciate your patience. I also would like to ask the board moderator that every presenter and panelist who's brought up for education and licensing has the opportunity to not only speak, but use their video, please. Okay, with that said, starting off, agenda item 8.1, discussion and possible action on whether to accept recommendation for ratification of minor curriculum revisions and clinical agency or facility approvals, and to acknowledge receipt of program progress reports. According to board policy, nursing education consultants may approve minor curriculum changes that do not significantly alter philosophy, objectives, or content. Approvals must be reported to the Education Licensing Committee and to the board. Minor curriculum revisions include the following categories: curriculum changes, work study programs, preceptor programs, public health nurse certificate programs, and a list of schools who have submitted minor curriculum revisions, clinical agency facility approvals, and program progress reports that have been approved by the nursing education consultants are in your materials packet as tables listed as the same: minor curriculum revisions, clinical agency or facility approvals, and program progress reports. This is a consent agenda item and concludes my report.
Jovita, I'm aware this is your first meeting that you have managed. So at this point, you would make a motion to accept. We would get a second. We would then go out to public comment, and then you would take a vote.
Thank you. I motion to accept. Do I have a second?
I'll accept, second it, Betty.
Public comment, Jovita?
Do we have public comment?
Board moderator, could you open for public comment, please?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, I would like to make a comment.
Hello.
Hi, is this Mary?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, hi. My name is Russ Thompson with Jamie.
Mary, can you please mute
yeah,
yourself?
Mary?
You are live on the committee
Yes, sir.
meeting.
I'm now the guy who does.
Mark, can you mute Mary Fagan, please?
Thank you.
Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Then,
Yes,
We
thank you.
I'm sorry, then we can, vote. Is that
Yes.
the appropriate thing?
Yes.
Yes, that's next. So Dolores Trujillo votes yes. Ken,
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan,
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Lolita,
Dominguez votes yes.
Mary,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty,
Woods, yes.
and Imelda.
I have no comments, but I will vote yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 8.2, discussion and possible action regarding education and licensing committee recommendations. Agenda item 8.2.1 is the discussion and possible action regarding whether to accept recommendation to continue approval or other actions for approved pre-licensure nursing programs. The BRN staff have conducted a regularly scheduled continuing approval visit. This process begins with the self-study written by the program and analyzed by the assigned nursing education consultant. It is followed by a 2 to 3 day site visit, including visits to clinical sites, verification of resources, meetings with students, faculty, and administration. The following programs have met all board rules and regulations for continuing approval of a pre-licensure nursing program and our consent agenda items. San Diego State University Baccalaureate Degree Nursing Program and the University of California, Davis Entry-Level Master's Degree Program.
I move that we accept. Is that appropriate?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Want to open it up? I will second your motion. Was that a motion, Jovita, to accept?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is a motion. And do we open it for public speaking?
Well, we open it up for the board first and then we
Oh,
can.
sorry.
That's okay. So do any of the board members have any questions or comment? Seeing that there's no questions or comment, board moderator, can we open it up to the public for public comment?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, I would like to make a comment. Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, I would like to make a comment. Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comments. Would you like me to close this window?
It's closed, and then we can take it to a vote.
So Dolores Trujillo votes yes. Ken?
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan?
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Jovita? Jovita, your vote?
Had a hard time on doing that.
Oh, okay.
Dominguez votes yes.
Thank you. Mary?
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty?
Woods, yes.
Imelda?
Elda Seha Bedwitz, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 8.2.2, discussion and possible action, whether to accept recommendation of a continuing approval or other action for an advanced practice nursing program. San Diego State University Adult Gyro Nurse Practitioner and the University of California Davis Family Nurse Practitioner degree program. Again, the BRN staff have conducted a regularly scheduled continuing approval visit for these schools in their advanced practice nursing. This process began with a self-study written by the program, analyzed by the assigned nursing education consultant. It was followed by a 2 to 3 day site visit to include practicum sites, verification of resources, meetings with faculty, administrators, and students. The following programs have met these rules and regulations of the board for continuation of approval of an advanced practice nursing program, and this is a consent agenda item.
Move that we accept.
Ken Marlborough seconds that.
Do we have, do we move on to, for the board to accept?
Well, we move on for questions and comments from the board. So are there any questions or comments on this agenda item from the board?
Thank you.
Seeing that there's no questions or comments, BRN moderator, can we open it up for public comment?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please close it. Thank you. And I would like to take it to a vote. Jovita Dominguez votes yes. Dolores Trujillo,
Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
Ken Marlborough,
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Mary Fagan,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty Woods,
Woods, yes.
Imelda.
Imelda, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 8.2.3. Discussion and possible action regarding whether to whether to accept the recommendation of approval or other action regarding pre-licensure nursing program, unit adjustments, or other changes. These are major curriculum revisions with no enrollment increase. University of California, Irvine, entry-level masters. University of California, Irvine Baccalaureate Degree Nursing Program, Chaffey College Associate Degree Nursing Program, and Brn University Baccalaureate Degree Program, which is a change in program control and name change. BRN staff have evaluated these major curriculum revision requests. The programs on the list have met all board rules and regulations for a major revision without an enrollment increase for a pre-licensure nursing program and are consent agenda items. This concludes my report.
Thank you. I move that we should vote. Take the, I'm sorry. I vote that we move to take this into not consideration, but take it to public speaking after we take
Move
the
to
vote.
approve. Move to approve or move to accept, Jovita?
I'm sorry?
You would move to accept. That's your.
Oh, I move to accept. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a little brain thing.
That's okay.
I move
That's
to
all right.
accept. Would somebody second that?
I can second
Kim
that.
Marlborough, I'll second. No, sorry.
Thank you. Do we move for public
Yes.
speaking?
Public comment, please.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought.
Could you do me a favor?
I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, and we can move to the vote.
Before the vote, are there any board comments or questions?
Thank you.
Okay, seeing that there's no comments or questions, go ahead. Go ahead, Jovita, get the vote.
I move that we vote. Jovita Dominguez votes yes. Dolores Trujillo,
Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
Marlborough,
Kim Marlborough votes yes.
Susan,
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Mary Fagan,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty Woods,
Woods, yes.
Imelda.
Imelda, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 8.3, discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to accept program progress report for Career Care Institute Associate Degree Nursing Program. This program will be presented by Donna Schutte, Nursing Education Consultant. Donna?
I am trying to get my
You're
audio
there.
on in my video. Hi, I'm glad to be here. Okay, I am Dr. Donna Schutte. I am the nursing education consultant for Career Care Institute. And with me today is our representatives from Career Care Institute, and they would like to be available for comment by audio and video, if that's allowable, and if it can be undertaken.
Yes, I have asked for everybody to have that option. So at the bottom of their screen, they should be able to see a mute button and a video button that hopefully they can do when it's their turn.
Okay.
Thanks, Donna.
Okay, thank you. At the April 16th,
What?
2020.
1 second, Donna. Donna, 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is Evelyn or Oriana on the on? I can't find her.
I'm here present with Dr. Gore.
Oh, okay, okay. You're there. Thank you.
Oh,
Go ahead, Donna. I'm
wonderful.
sorry.
Good morning. At the April 16th, 2020 board meeting, the BRN changed the warning status with intent to close for the CCI ADN program to approval status with quarterly progress reports and a return to the ELC meeting in 1 year. So at this time, 1 year later, the program remains in compliance with all BRN regulations. Quarterly reports have been submitted routinely, and they have been accepted by the board over the past year. The final CCI quarterly report, a summary report, was included in today's materials for your review and acceptance. This concludes my report. However, Dr. Gore, the program director, and President Orellano, and she's also the chief accounting officer for CCI, are here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the board members? Jovita, would you like to make a motion?
Move that we move a motion, take the motion to accept.
Wonderful.
Do we have a second?
Do I have a second?
I will second you, Jovita.
Thank you. Do we move to public speaking? Or actually, do we have questions for the board? There were none, right?
Correct.
That's good.
So do we move to public speaking?
Yes. Public comment, please.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please. And we'll take it to a vote. Jovita Dominguez votes yes. Dolores Trujillo,
Dolores votes yes.
Ken Marlborough,
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan,
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Mary Fagan,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Imelda, I'm sorry, Betty Woods,
Woods, yes.
Imelda,
Elda Seja-Butkus, yes.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 8.4.
Thank you. Thank you.
Discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to accept program progress report with discussion and possible action to address any performance gaps, including actions described in California Code of Regulations 16, Section 1423.2, Subdivision A for East Los Angeles College Associate Degree Nursing Program. I am the nursing education consultant for Elac and will be presenting this program. Joining me on the line is Dr. Alberto Roman, who is the college president, Dr. Amito Ornelas, who is the vice president, and Dr. Kendra Majid, who is the dean. At the November 2019 board meeting, Elac was put on warning status with intent to close. They are required to report at each ELC and board meeting. Reports for this meeting were submitted from the college administration, nursing program, and historical data has been included. Reports are in your packet. Before I give my report, I need to make the board aware of 2 corrections to the nursing program report in your packet. At the top of page 134 in your packet, this has been submitted. The sentence that states, an alternate plan was suggested by Dr. Melby. This document refers to Dr. Melby. However, it's Miss Melby, who is our BRN EO. She's the person that is being referred to and who was at the meeting, and she is master prepared. I just want to make sure that that correction is made and everybody understands that. And that the second part, an alternative plan was suggested. Again, Miss Melby didn't suggest an alternate plan. However, she did refer to 16 CCR 1424F, which states that the program shall have a board-approved assistant director who is knowledgeable and current regarding the program and the policies and procedures by which it is administered, and who is delegated the authority to perform the director's duties in the absence of the director. Are there any questions about this correction before I begin my report? Seeing none, I will proceed. Compliance concerns for Elac that are ongoing and that have surfaced since the ELC April 2021 board meeting are going to be presented today. Number one is not a new non-compliance, but the NCLEX pass rates. What's new is that we do have the third quarter pass rates now. And for Elac for the third quarter is 66%. So they are still below passing standard in this quarter and overall. And this is related to CCR 1431 license exam pass rate standard. The second concern has to do with the program director. The current program director's term ends June 30th, 2021. There has been a high turnover in nursing leadership, particularly the program director. There have been 2 directors since June 30th, 2020. The college administration has submitted a succession plan, and this is also in your packet at the top of page 133. And I am going to read that for you. The purpose of this report is to specifically address the college's succession plan for our program director. As you are aware, effective June 30th, 2021, Christine Chandler's term as program director of the nursing program at East Los Angeles College will end. The college recently conducted an internal search for a new director, and unfortunately, none of the faculty submitted a candidacy form. Thus, the college will work with their Human Resources Division to conduct an internal search within the Los Angeles Community College District for the next program director. It is our intent to have this position filled by July 1st, 2021. In the event that we do not find a candidate within the LCCD system, the college will expand the search to include candidates outside the district. If the search continues beyond July 31st, Dr. Alberto Roman, the college president, will appoint one of the existing assistant directors to serve as the program director on an interim basis. The college administration will continue to provide support to the program during this time of transition. And furthermore, the college administration will continue to communicate and update the NEC as information becomes concrete. Okay, concern number 3 is high attrition rates. And again, in your packet, I have given you by semester and by year the attrition rates for Elac. And in the last 5 years, annually, it's been between 38% and 51% attrition rate. Attrition rate for the BRN means that students began a program and only these number of students, for instance, 17, 18, 43% of the students did not finish on time. Number 4 is resources. One faculty member is currently on leave. Another faculty member is working 2 full-time loads in med-surg and in psych mental health, which is a concern in noncompliance as far as the program shall have sufficient resources, including faculty and staff. They also have an RN staff resignation, specifically in the skills lab, and there's been no replacement to date. Again, the program is under 16 CCR 1424D. The program shall have sufficient resources. Finally, number 5, as the NEC, I see lack of evidence that the nursing program is following and teaching the new BRN approved curriculum that began in August of 2020. I've requested a full program syllabi evaluation and comparison to the content leveling done with the curriculum consultant that was done last spring, January through June of 2020. The work done on this leveling was to take out content overlap, was to add missing content into the curriculum, and to build on concepts from acute to chronic as students advance through the program with their new concept-based curriculum. This concern is related to 1425.1 faculty responsibilities, Subdivision A, where each faculty member shall assume responsibility and accountability for instruction, evaluation of students, planning and implementing of curriculum content. Back in the fall of 2019, when they first came and were put on warning status, they had 6 areas of noncompliance. 3 of those are still ongoing, and there's some of those were the licensing exam, the curriculum, which is still a problem, administration and organization, which is still a problem, and now added concerns with resources. The program is available to answer any questions you may have, and this concludes my report.
So do I, with all those suggestions, if I move to accept those, is that what if I say to move to accept, is that what I'm accepting? Because that's a lot of I know that they're in a delicate situation. So if I move to accept, is that what I'm accepting?
Yes, you are.
So why don't we open it up for board discussion and questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Dolores.
Sure.
Yep, and this is very, very concerning to me.
Very concerning, yeah.
I'm not sure at what point, we don't just ask for reports, but there needs to be action. What's the process? I'm not exactly sure even what the process is. Does it come from the NECs to recommend?
No, Dr. Fagan, this is Lori, and our NECs do not give recommendations, but I can talk to you about what the process is. Additionally, I want to call attention to page 140 in the materials. That is a historical document. That's the agenda item summary that speaks to the process that Elac has been experiencing since 2014. So in 2014, the board was placed on warning status with intent to withdraw approval. the enrollments were then decreased in September 2016 from 30 twice a year to 20 twice a year. And then in 2017, they showed that they were doing fairly well and starting to make improvements based on the progress reports, and their enrollment status was then increased back to 30 students twice a year. In 2018, April 2018, they were granted approval status again and continued the enrollment pattern of 30 twice a year. And then just a year and a half later, November of 19, they were brought back and placed on warning status with intent to close. So there are a few options that can be done at this point. The first option being to accept the progress report and having them continue to work to clear up the non-compliances, and then have them to continue to report back every committee meeting and every board meeting. And that has been the status quo since November. So it could be just to accept the progress report. The second option is to decrease enrollments. You could choose to do what the previous board had done in 2016, and that is to decrease enrollments. What that board chose to do at that point was to decrease to 20 students twice a year versus 30 students twice a year. That protects the public by decreasing enrollment. That also allows for a decreased need of staff when it comes to clinicals, because, you know, as you guys know, about 10 students, and now with COVID, every 5 students needs a clinical instructor because they do have smaller clinical group requirements out in the hospital settings. So that does assist with some of the resource issues. There are also options where you can stop enrollments altogether and choose to do a pause in enrollments for a semester or for an academic year or for 2 years. Or you can even go so far as requiring a teach out plan and ultimately bringing that in front of the board to have them vote to accept a teach out plan, which would then close Elac. So those are your options. One is to accept a progress report as is and continue. Second is to decrease enrollments. Third is to pause or stop enrollments. And fourth is to request a teach out. And that would be up to the board for discussion and action, and is not done on recommendation by our NECs. What our NECs do is they serve as a neutral liaison, bringing information from the school to the board, vetting that information that the school presents, and letting the board members know if they have met our rules and regulations and what they have done to assist the school to meet the rules and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. That's really, really helpful. I just don't even know. I'm thinking about whether decreasing enrollment would help with the inconsistency in leadership and nobody to take over. I just wonder how even with decreased enrollment, they would be able to be successful. My gut would be to stop enrollment altogether until things stabilize.
I do want to provide one additional clarification, and Mary Ann, apologize if I'm overstepping here. They do have, by statute and our regulations, people that can come into place. And that was the conversation that I had with them with Mary Ann McCarthy. And that was that they have 3 assistant directors right now that are board approved. Each one of those assistant directors in regulation are required to serve in the absence of a director. And so they do have an ability to gain somebody to serve in that role through the 3 program assistant directors that they do have on site. So just to provide that clarification, and then I'll turn this over to Mary Ann McCarthy and be here for questions if needed.
Yes, and Mary, that was part of the part that I'm trying to find my thing so I can give you the page. Let's see, it's the part that I read about their, what they sent to me as far as their succession plan. It's at the top of 133 in your materials. And that's where they designate how they're going to make us, look for a new person. And if they can't find anybody, Dr. Roman will appoint one of the assistant, 1, 2, all of, or 3 assistant directors, however we can do it to get them going until they can find someone.
But none of the assistant directors are interested in the position. They did not want to apply, right?
Correct. None of them put their name in the hat, correct?
Hi, this is Imelda Seha-Betkowitz. I've been on this board since 2014, and we've had this issue with the college ever since I've started on this board. We have worked and tried to give them, extensions, progress reports. We know that there's a big need in that area for nursing school, especially to reach out to the low minority population. We really have worked hard and worked with them to try to get them up to standards, but I don't see it. I mean, I really don't. I mean, at this point in time, I just think we should do a teach out plan. I don't know how much longer this will continue. I don't think we're doing any justice for those students that are attending that school, and it is quite expensive. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I really am. We have worked and Betty can attest to this. At this point in time, I think we should probably consider the teach out plan or stop enrollment. That would be my recommendation.
So this is Dolores. Previous decrease in enrollment, Lori, was successful.
Yes, so thank you, and I'll explain why I could jump in and answer that. Prior to assuming the role as the assistant, as the executive officer here, I was the NEC for Elac, and Mary Ann McCarthy actually was my second on the continuing approval visit when this was brought forward to the board last November. So previously, the decrease from 30 to 20 twice a year did allow for the school to continue to operate and to retain their faculty and work on some of the issues. So that's some of the really important things to consider when looking at decreasing enrollments. Whenever you decrease enrollments, what you run up against is those clinical sites that those students had, they would no longer be utilizing because those enrollment numbers would be gone. So there's a potential that this school, who does serve the inner city of LA in a very with a large demographic that needs assistance, they can lose clinical sites. We have seen one school that I believe is being presented later in the agenda, who is actually closing because of a loss of clinical sites in the LA area because of clinical impaction and ultimate clinical displacement. The other thing that is to be considered is a faculty shortage. When you cut and decrease the faculty load, faculty members choose to leave. There is a huge faculty shortage in this area as well as all of California. And so when you decrease enrollments, potentially that can affect faculty numbers and again, resources. So it is a balancing act when you're taking into consideration, like, what can the board do to enact change and to work on that. So we do have proof that in September 2016, they decreased admissions to 20 students twice a year. And then in 2017, just a year and a half later, April of 2017, sorry, not a year and a half later, I apologize, just 6 months or so later, they were able to have their warning status lifted and brought back up to 2017. And brought back up to 30 students twice a year. So it did show that previously a decrease in enrollments did help. This is a new administration at that school. As you can tell, the people that are online is the president, the vice president, and the dean. Typically, those are positions that don't attend our board meetings on a consistent manner. Typically, it is the director of nursing. I did want to make mention that the director of nursing is only absent for this meeting right now because she is on bereavement leave. It's not that we asked her to be absent or that she chose to be absent. So she is not here to represent her nursing program at this time because of that.
I would like to interject too. Lori, and say that Dr. Roman would like to address the board and speak and offer the opportunity to answer any more questions you may have.
Thank you. If this is the appropriate time, I'd like to do so, if that's okay, Chair Dominguez. Okay.
Yes, I think it's okay. Go ahead, Dr. Roman.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, again, thank you for this opportunity to be here. As I stated, my name is Alberto Romano. I'm the president of East Los Angeles College. And I just want to start again by thanking the board, as you have shown a commitment, patience, and diligence in sort of your review of our program over several years. I am the new president. I've been permanent now for 5 months. And I have began to really look very carefully at all of the concerns that have been brought forth to you with our vice president, our dean, and the entire nursing team. I've met with them now several times. Let me tell you, these are matters that are of full priority to me as a college president to address immediately. It's been stated that we do serve a very diverse community in Los Angeles, Southeast Los Angeles, but primarily students of color, Latinx, and African-American students, API students. This is an important program for us, and we want to do everything that we can to keep it going forward and to make sure it's viable. We understand that there were issues with the transition of leadership, but I want to affirm the board that that is a priority that we will address immediately with the hiring of a new program director. Again, I'll remind you that the current director's term expires, so irrespective of her willingness to serve, she wasn't able to do so because of the expiration. We plan to have a program director in place as of July 1, irrespective of whether or not we're able to conclude the process. There is an AD that's shown interest. There's also other individuals that can step in, but the goal is to have a permanent program director on or about July 1, if not soon thereafter. We're mitigating a lot of different strategies relative to our NCLEX exams. There were 3 individuals that took the exam, 2 of which passed. That's the 66% rate that you see. But I can assure you that we have put in place other strategies to make sure that we do, in fact, get to a point where we want to see 100% passing rate. The resources include, as you saw, Kaplan text prep workshops. We have a student success advisor that's working directly with the students, in addition to other strategies. So I'm here today to tell you I'm fully committed as a new college president to see this program succeed where it needs to be. And I understand this goes back to 2014, but my goal is to make sure we turn this around immediately. The curriculum will be followed. I've had conversations already with our team to make sure that takes place. To me, that should not be, that's not a negotiable thing for us. We will make sure that that happens. So I'm very confident that these 3 remaining issues will get addressed. We want to continue the program for the benefit of the community, for the benefit of our students. And we ask today that you consider adopting the recommendations. Also, the possibility of even reducing our student enrollment would be viable for us as well. But again, thank you very much for working with us. Thank you to our consultant. Thank you to the leadership team who met with us recently, including Dr. Melby. They have been working with us for a while. And again, I want to assure you that I remain fully committed to make sure that we address all the remaining issues at East LA College. Thank you again for this opportunity for me to be with you today.
Thank you, Dr.
President Rowe, can I ask a question? Few questions,
yes,
please?
I just would like to clear one thing. Again, it's Miss Melby. She is a master's prepared. And so I just want to make sure we address the fact that she is not doctorally prepared. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, thank you. President Roman, congratulations on your new spot. I just have a few questions, but one confirmation that the majority of your students in this nursing program, are they from the general area that your school location is?
Good question. I would defer in general to my vice president, but I would say yes, they are. Dr. Ornelas, can you confirm that for us?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Me okay? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, they are from our general area, although we do, our admissions is open to the greater Los Angeles area, but the majority of our students are from our immediate service area.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Can you explain, it seems like you have a high turnover at your upper level management and maybe even in your faculty level. Do you know why? Why is that happening?
Let me start, and certainly Dr. Ornelas, you can weigh in on this. It does start at the top, with myself being a new president. The prior president was there for 6 years. We had an interim for about 1.5 years, and I was hired more recently to take the position. Dr. Ornelas, in her leadership role, has been there as a vice president now for a couple of years. So she's also somewhat new to the program. We did have a change in dean, and part of it, quite frankly, has been just general attrition, people moving on to different promotions, different opportunities. It's not been a function or a reflection really of the program, but rather, timing and circumstances that led to change. The program director that was there prior to the 2 we've had was there a long time. Ms. Chandler was there with us for 1 year. Due to the fact that her term expires, we are required to obviously hire a new program director, and it was her desire not to continue in the position. So to answer your question in part, it's just been timing issues associated with people moving on to other things, people changing positions, promotions. So we anticipate a lot more continuity in leadership moving forward. I, for one, don't anticipate going anywhere for a while. So you have a permanent president for several years, I hope. You'll have a stability in the leadership there as well. So so part of it's just been timing of people transitioning.
Okay, and Madam President, I just have one more question and a quick statement, if that's okay, and then I'll shut up on this. So you are saying that you think you can change this in a pause in semester. What is that? Quickly, don't give me a long-term answer, but what is your plan, high level, to do that if that was granted?
Thank you. Great question. Real quick, we're going to pump more resources into the program. We'll make sure that we have the appropriate nursing staff so that we have the appropriate ratio for students. We will have a program director effective July 1. So that will provide continuity and leadership. We are going to continue with the additional support to the students to increase the test rates. And I will make sure as a college president to make sure the curriculum is absolutely followed so that we don't have any deviation from it. And that's going to be one of my priorities going forward, to immerse myself in that process to make sure that that happens immediately.
Okay. The last thing I'll just say, I don't want your school to fail, but I know we can't continue to keep giving you more opportunities after opportunities because you're failing the students, but what's even bigger, you're failing your community. I live in a community of concern because I choose to do so because I was born and raised there and I love it. And we have a community college that's not a nursing program, but it's an opportunity for people in that community to get educated and get a great job. And the community recognizes that, and it's very important, and they're involved in that. And so I would ask you, it's not just a school problem, but it's a community problem, and you need to engage with your community because, in my opinion, this is your last shot at it. And so you're going to have to show some quick, if this is approved, whatever we decide to do, you're going to have to show some very quick, positive performance for us to continue this because we can't continue to let this happen year after year. So thank you for your answers. I appreciate that and good luck to you.
Agreed. Thank you, sir.
This is Betty. And of course, I have major concerns about this program. And the NCLEX scores are miserable, but also why are people dropping out of the program? That's very concerning to me. Not only is the faculty dropping out, but students drop out. Do you have any idea why your students are dropping out of the program? You've given some information about what you're going to do to try to get the NCLEX rate up, but you can't have students coming in and then they drop out. Why is that happening?
If I can jump in for a second here. Again, my name is Armida Ornelas. I as the Marian explained, part of the definition of the attrition is that students are not completing within the initial time frame. So actually, most of our students are not necessarily dropping out. They're taking longer to complete. And that's one of the measures that we try to address in this new curriculum, is that when students are falling behind or not doing well, we're using the intercession to try to, our 2 intercessions, to try to bring them up to speed so that they do finish, even if it means a semester longer. So, you know, while we do have an attrition rate, it's not as drastic as what you see here. What you're really seeing is that our students are taking probably a semester longer than planned.
And just to provide clarification to that, Betty, I know that she was referring to a different attrition rate. So for Title IV funding, they do attrition rate at time and a half. BRN does not use that same attrition rate. So all of our pre-licensure nursing programs are looked at with the same attrition rate, and that is on-time completion. So if you've got student A, B, and C that start the program and they're supposed to be done in 2 years, we specifically look to see if student A, B, and C finishes in that 2-year time period. We do not look that student C drops out but then completes 2 semesters later, or takes a leave of absence and then completes 2 semesters later. So for Title IV funding, yes, they look at time and a half completion. For BRN, we look at 100% on-time completion. So I know that she's making that separation here, but when you look at a direct comparison to the attrition numbers that are posted on our website, that are collected through the school surveys, and that we do our metrics for, it is 100% on-time completion, and those are the numbers that Dr. Mary Ann McCarthy reported. Because as part of public safety is, if the student enrolls with the intention to complete in 2 years, it is a hardship to that student if they're not able to complete in 2 years. That's the 2 years that they allotted, and a lot of them have jobs that they plan on doing, or they have significant others taking over or managing daycare during that time, so that they plan on 2 full years. When they are not able to successfully complete in that 2 years, that usually means that they have course failure or a family event that came up or pulled away for other personal issues. And that does cause a hardship, which is why the BRN looks at 100% on-time completion versus time and a half when we're looking at public protection.
Yes, but I'm also concerned also if students are failing courses. So then they have to repeat that course. Is that an issue also? And if that's the case, what is being done about that?
So again, if I can jump in here, you know, in working with Mary Ann, part of the goal of the new curriculum was to truly embed strategies that will help the faculty identify issues along the way with students and help intervene early on. So, you know, what we're trying to do is, you know, again, Mary Ann had explained that this new curriculum can take sometimes up to 2 years to truly work through the integration of these new strategies, bring the faculty up to speed with professional development, and really work through these kinks, if you will. So yes, we've had issues with our students not successfully completing courses. And again, in hiring our student success representative, the goal is to work with the students throughout. When faculty identify some concerns, and use the intercessions to truly bring students up to speed with the ATI, it was Kaplan before, and help our students with the resources necessary to succeed in their courses.
If I may speak, this is Jovita Dominguez. I teach at Hartnell, and we were once in a spot. I'm not sure if it's close to yours, but we were under strategic to get our numbers back up. And we had a different type of leadership that, of course, was not helping the students, and so that was changed. And I wish you a lot of luck. And I know it's going. I'm pretty sure it takes many hours beyond your working hours. And I'm pretty sure it's intruding in your personal life. And I wish you luck, because the student today is not the same student that a program from back. I was a graduate of Hartnell back in 1992, and it was grueling. And I was my first year, I honestly did not think I was going to pass. And so I was one of those miracles that happened. But I could only imagine the student at in your campus is probably, life happens, and either they get pregnant or they can't survive. And being in nursing school is extremely hard. The student today works a lot, and I don't know how they make it through nursing school, but they work hard. And like I said, I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you for that.
It's not luck. I know it's a lot of
Thank-
hard work, but it's just it's a saying. My heart's with you.
Thank you. And if I may, just my last comment, if I can, because this issue resonates with us, and it's already been said, sort of the population of students that we serve. And really, at the end of the day, this is about the students. We do have a lot of underserved students in low-income communities that we serve that are not traditional students. These are students that have families, that work full-time, that are trying to advance their careers and find nursing as the way to do so. That's not an excuse for us. It certainly is who we serve and who we want to serve and who we're proud to serve. But in doing so, we have a professional and a moral obligation to make sure that we have the program, the infrastructure, the support necessary to make sure that these students succeed. You've heard already, most of them are from our community, and we want to make sure that these students have equity in their education, have support. And so anyway, in that vein, we again hope and request that you continue to allow us the opportunity. I will be, as I mentioned, along with my admin team, involved heavily to make sure that we work with our faculty team and everybody to make sure that we can get the program where it needs to be. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and I appreciate your consideration.
Lori, I have one question just for clarification about something that you said before, because in my mind, I'm thinking about whether it's best to decrease enrollment or to stop enrollment altogether. And I thought I heard you say that when you decrease enrollment, faculty leave and you also lose student placements. Did I hear that correctly?
That is a risk and something that needs to be considered, yes.
So I'm just wondering how, if that's a risk, and if it's a high risk, how that's going to, help facilitate success for the students that are there. It would seem to me sort of, just when I first heard it, I thought, oh, good, then the faculty will be spread, among fewer students. That will give them more chance to be with the students, and there'll be more opportunity to have time in the clinical placements. They're not fighting for them, but it sounded like, from the risks that you said, that it might be exactly the opposite of what I was intuitively thinking.
That is a possibility. Understand that the way that faculty are set up through the Board of Registered Nursing is you have an instructor level faculty member that owns that theory course. That theory course is truly dependent on space available and class size, and that's determined by the school and the school's resources. So you could have 20 students in there, you can have 50 students in there, because that is a theory setup. So decreasing numbers at that point truly does not affect that theory instructor and free them up. It just means they would have less students in that course. That theory instructor that Dr. Marianne McCarthy was talking about is they have such a small amount of instructor level full-time faculty there that they're not only just teaching one content area, they're teaching multiple content areas. So they're doing a double load, and that is considered an overload assignment. Those classes that they teach are built into the curriculum. So decreasing the number of student enrollments doesn't decrease the number of classes offered for the content areas. They still have to teach a psych mental health. They still have to teach a med surg. Those are still courses that have to be offered. What that can do, decreasing enrollments, is if they are also teaching as a clinical instructor. So it could decrease them from taking a clinical assignment with the addition of their theory assignment. That again comes down to union contracts and personnel issues that the BRN is not involved in. So those would have to be questions directly asked to the campus administration. But what has happened in the past is a temporary decrease in enrollments. And so say that you stop one semester, and I have talked to the school about this, they know that this is a possibility. If you stop one semester, that is a typical happening. So typically students are not enrolled in intersessions, and that's a summer semester and a winter semester. So the clinical sites are used to having fall and spring admissions from this class, from this college. It may be an opportunity to not enroll for one semester and allow that semester to be the time that all faculty continue on payroll, continue with their assignment, but instead of having direct contact with those students, when that enrollment stop gets to them, because if you only stop enrollments for one semester, it only affects, so say as an example, I stop enrollments for this fall, but I only stop at one enrollment cycle. So that fall enrollment would be your fundamentals of nursing course. They would not have an assignment. It would just be those instructors. Those instructors would then take that opportunity to work on their curriculum, make sure that all of their instructional aids are up to date, make sure that everything is ready for them to go. They've incorporated a new book if that's something that they've needed to do, or rearrange content. Then that next enrollment, which would be spring, they would then have a cohort that they would be teaching. But that enrollment cohort that what did not come in for fall is now in the second semester. So that group of faculty for second semester would now not have students. Every other teacher would at the same level. And that group would now be able to work on their assignments with their faculty, with their curriculum, with their issues. And then again, they would then have that next enrollment cycle, and that would go on to the third semester. And so it'd be like a bubble that went through the curriculum that would allow them to retain faculty and retain clinical sites. So that is a possibility for the board to consider as well. If you wanted to do kind of a built-in, you now have to focus versus being pulled in multiple directions. But again, that's a conversation that has to happen with the administrative staff of the school, because ultimately they would have to agree to keep that faculty on and work with the union and the personnel issues to have them work on alternate assignments essentially versus taking in and teaching a class during that time.
Does that help, Mary?
Understand that correctly, I'd like to make a motion that we do that we request them to take a pause.
I would second that.
It sounds like decreased enrollment of each cohort was successful previously.
Even though it was successful, Dolores, when I looked back, I mean, I think the NCLEX rates were better, but the attrition rate was still 51%, 43% in that 2017, 2018 timeframe. So really high attrition rate, some of the highest that they reported.
But the possibility, this is Jovita Dominguez, the possibility of that attrition might be that maybe the student maybe I don't know what the acceptance is for your college, President Roman, but is it valued on high grades, or is it more sort of like I wouldn't call it a lottery, but I can't come up with a better word right now. But if that's so, if it's if they're not accepting by grades, then you have students that are not prepared, but they get accepted due to the criteria that the school has. And I've seen it because I mean, since I teach, I can see that the student struggles. And especially if English is their second language, and if their grades are not, if their grades are not like, A's or B's, they will struggle, and I can see the attrition. But I agree with Miss Loretta that maybe decreasing the amount of students that they accept, so they can alleviate some of the instructors, the professors, in taking a different focus, so they can get those numbers up, would probably be the best way. Because I agree with Ms. Marlborough that the community needs that college, and
Yes.
the need is there.
If I could add to your comment, I think what's different from us now in looking at that option to reduce enrollment would be the additional support that we intend to have with the students to make sure that they are, there's interventions and support every step of the way. That's a commitment that we're making. Don't know about the past. Certainly, I wasn't here, but I could tell you that we will guide every single student with the appropriate and necessary resources to make sure that they get through. So that to me is different. Again, I can't compare it to when this happened prior, but certainly what our desire would be is not to pause altogether if that is obviously the wish of the board.
And to Javita, I just want to add that they have updated their enrollment, their requirements for application, and to a multi-criteria standard. So they have multi-criteria that they go through when they evaluate the candidates for the nursing program. That is not brand new, but it's relatively new. Again, in order to, as an attempt in this process since fall of 19 to improve the situation. They also had a waiting list that they had going, and they have ended that so that students who apply, again, go through the multi-criteria, are tiered. Only if someone has to drop early in the semester for some reason, that wouldn't count as attrition because they're just starting, they'd bring another person on. So they have made some steps on the admissions process already to look at the nursing program candidates.
Thank you.
This is Ken Marlborough. I just I wanted to clarify something that I said. I don't know if Dr. Fagan was referring to pausing for a semester. I'm not sure, but I was kind of like on that. I felt that might not be so bad. But regardless of that, even if we were to reduce this, what kind of timeline, and this question might be more towards Mary Ann, would that we could realistically see changes being made if we either pause for a semester or we reduce the enrollment for a period of time? How much of that time would we need to see improvement?
Good question. Thank you. And I'm going to ask Laura to jump in when I'm finished to see if she has anything to add. It's some things are going to take a while. And one of those things is the NCLEX pass rate. So that is going to take a while because like I talked about, they have just recently went to, not recently, well, I don't know how recently, I can't speak to that. Armida will have to help me with how recently, or Kendra, but the multi-criteria is a newer thing. So you have to first have this new set of students under this new criteria. Then you have to get them in with this new curriculum that needs to be in place, followed by the support systems that they're building into and the supplemental ATI and stuff that they're given the program. So it takes, it does take time. I don't know if we can set a timeline. However, my focus would, like with the program when I talk to them, is stability in their leadership and succession planning, and also to try to provide opportunities for the faculty to, if possible, not be on overload or have some kind of release time so they can work on the curriculum and the things that go into a curriculum to present, you know, the materials, the PowerPoints, the case studies, the, you know, all the things that are involved, which takes time. You got to, somebody already said it, the amount of hours it takes, the stuff you do outside of the time you're actually in the classroom teaching, or at the clinical site teaching. Those are the things that take some time. But there is, in my mind, and I have also expressed this with the program, there is very, very much a sense of urgency for me that this needs to, the internal, whatever it is, turnover, turmoil, whatever is happening, kind of needs to be stabilized somehow with a strong leadership team that can move the program forward and somehow be able to connect the leadership team and the faculty and Elac administration all together as one team moving forward. Does that help, Ken?
And then this is where I'll jump in real quick, like Marianne requested. This is a 2-year program. And so with the new admission standards, it would take 2 years from when those were in place for that to show any result. Additionally, the nursing curriculum was just updated. So if it truly was embraced and it was automatically implemented, it would take 2 years from that time to have a student who was taking that new curriculum all the way through to be able to graduate from that program. So I would not expect any changes to really be shown when looking at attrition rates, when looking at NCLEX pass rates, when looking at job placement rates, community feedback, all of that stuff that we do look at when we do our school visits. We probably would not see anything concrete for 2 years.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your answer.
This is Dolores. I have a couple of questions. If we if we stopped enrollment for a quarter or a semester, Dr. Roman, will you lose your clinical placement time that you have at the hospitals? Because clinical placement is at such a premium in Southern California. And I'm concerned that there's 2 things I'm concerned about. One, that you lose your clinical placement. And then 2, with the faculty, will you lose faculty?
Thank you for that, Board Member Trujillo. Let me start answering the second question, which is we would very much lose faculty.
Yeah.
I think it was stated already, faculty has been a shortage statewide, particularly in LA. We can't compete, obviously, with compensation that we pay in public education. So to find strong, solid nursing faculty is always a challenge. I can guarantee you we will lose faculty. The clinicals are difficult. You know, we're in a dense area, but there's a lot of other, obviously, entities that are competing. We would likely see some challenges there. I don't know if we would lose them right out, but it is a potential consequence of not offering, the courses. And the last thing I would say is just the access, right? As we're talking about really bringing it back and rooting ourselves on what's most important, that would be the students and not being able to have that access for the students. So to us, that's a more challenging option to endorse, but obviously this is the decision of the board. Reducing the number of students and working in a more honed in and providing more dedicated attention to the students makes sense for us with the new leadership that we have in place and working with our current faculty to make sure that we address the issues. But it's an excellent question, and I think both would be yes. I think definitely faculty, clinicals, we could jeopardize the possibility there as well.
Dolores, I just want to add to that with a pause, my request to the college, if possible, and I think Lori already spoke to this, is that they work with, you know, with HR, with the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name now, but anyway, the people who do the contract, to hold on to faculty, because the whole purpose of, if there was a pause or if there's a decrease, the idea is to keep the faculty, but allow them the time to work on what they need to do. You know,
Yes.
not being so busy that they don't have time to really work on their courses or their clinical, you know, clinical things. So I just want to reiterate that we would really want to, regardless of the choice of reducing or pausing, the point would be to not lose faculty, but to find a way to keep them, because even clinical faculty, they need to be working with the theory faculty. This is why we have concurrency, right? I mean, because the theory is supposed to be taught in conjunction with the clinical. And if we're just moving forward with theory faculty and we're not including our clinical faculty, we're missing that connection, and that's not going to benefit students. So regardless of what they do, you know, I would suggest to them that they do everything they can to keep the faculty they have, at whatever negotiation or cost that is, in order to save the program, because there needs to be, the point is to give the faculty the time, all the faculty, not just the full-time faculty or just the content experts, but all the faculty that need the time to work together to improve the program.
It would seem to me that this program is vital to the community down there, and pausing it might ensure that a loss of clinical placements would occur, thereby losing clinical instructors. So that's the domino effect that I see right now, whereas I see decreasing enrollment puts their objectives on a path where they can concentrate on their curriculum. They still have their clinical placement spots, and the students still are moving through the program rather than pausing it.
Hi, this is Imelda. I think it's very vital. We thought that it's been vital since 2014. We've seen a lot of faculty change, come and go. It's been an ongoing battle, and I know we have a new director. Thank you for stepping up. I really would like to see something done. I don't know what that is, but we do have a motion, a first and a second, so we can either ask for public comments or call for the question.
This is Betty. I do have a question for Dr. Roman about your faculty. Do you have a person who is like a psychiatric social worker or a mental health person who can deal with some of the issues that the students are going through? They may have child care problems, they may have money problems, and they run the gamut. Is there anybody on site where these students can go to get some type of assistance?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And I know this is the reality, not just for nursing students, actually for a lot of students dealing with stress, anxiety, depression in some cases. We do have a contract with a company by the name of Via Care that provides health services. We have identified 2 particular individuals that do provide counseling, mental health support. It's something that we can certainly hone in a little more in the nursing program, do check-ins, you know, well-being, make sure that they're doing okay. If they're not, that there is opportunity for us to do that. We have a case management system, so the simple answer is yes, we do. And it's certainly something that we can work with our administrative team to make sure that they are getting the appropriate support. As I stated before, some do have families, and they become obviously, and they should, the priority for many. And so that has also impacted obviously their ability to focus on the program. But nonetheless, I think we have the resources within the college to be able to provide that kind of support.
Thank you.
Real quick, Imelda, are you able to tell me what the motion was that was put on the table? I don't remember hearing one. That could be just me missing it. I
I thought
apologize.
it, Mary Fagan, didn't you make a motion and
I
Kate Marble
did.
seconded?
I moved that we pause for a semester. And I think Ken seconded.
Thank you. I must have cut out on my end. I missed that completely.
I also didn't realize we had a motion. Thank you, because I missed it too. This is Jovita.
You know, I'd like to give them opportunity to fight one more battle and maybe decrease enrollment and give them an opportunity.
Dolores, if there's a motion and a second, we'll have to take a vote on that. And if it does not pass, then we can come back and do a second.
Sure.
Is my understanding. Reza, do you have something different that I'm not aware of?
We have to open for public comment as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're right, Lori. We do have to deal with this motion before making another motion. I mean, Dolores can still express those thoughts, whether it's in support of the current motion or just kind of in opposition, or, you know, it's all related.
Yeah, I wasn't making a motion. I was just expressing my thoughts. So if there's not, is there any more board discussion or board questions? If not, we can open it up to public comment.
And as he's opening it up, I just want to remind everybody that the motion is to pause for a semester. That's what I've heard so far. Thank you.
And Ms. McCarthy, if the motion does succeed, if we pause, that means that the full-time instructors are still going to be kept on to improve the program. Is that what I understand?
Well, we'll have to probably talk about that after we do public comment.
Because I've seen it before. It's hard to keep faculty, and I could only imagine that a lot of them already bailed ship, and in order for this program to succeed, we have to improve with what we got, or what not we, but that program in specific.
I'm glad you asked that. I should have commented to that. Honestly, their full-time faculty have been there a long time, most of them 15 or 20 years, and they have not left. Many of them were there before 2014. So they do have a very stable faculty. That doesn't mean it won't change if something changes, but in history so far, they have had a very stable set of core faculty.
And this is Mary, from what I heard, if I heard it correctly, and I am, this has been a little confusing, this whole conversation, but we're at risk potentially of losing faculty and clinical placements, whether the enrollment is decreased or it's paused. Is that correct? That's what I was hearing.
It's a risk. My understanding is yes, it would be
For both. Is
yes.
one more of a risk than the other?
I don't know. I think just from history, I can only say from history, having the stable, dedicated faculty that they've had there for this long. I mean, they might lose part-time people, but I would be surprised if the core faculty who have been there this long would just walk away from the program, because there is great dedication.
So it seems to me the core to success, oh, sorry, I won't say anything else, but the key to success in this is whatever negotiations happen, whether it's paused or class size reduced, is the negotiations that happen between leadership and the union or HR or whoever to maintain the faculty to fix the problem. So when students come back, either the full amount or after the pause, that they are ready to hit the ground running with a program that's going to be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
That's out of our preview. All of that is out of our preview.
And board member Fagan, I think with pausing, I think the clinical would be more of an issue for us and losing potential clinical. So, yeah. Thanks.
I just wanted to add, I had no intentions of losing faculty. I just thought that faculty, if they have that time off, there's still teaching going on because you still have students. And so, but the faculty that wouldn't have students, they can start working to help make those improvements. That was my thought process on this.
Can I ask a clarifying question with the motion on the floor? With the pause, does that give us the option then to double our entering class in the subsequent semester?
I can probably provide a little clarification on that. Thank you. Your enrollments are annual enrollments, and so that is your academic term. So your academic term, when we're looking at enrollments, would be for 21-22. So that would be fall and spring enrollments. So you'd have right now an approval for an annual enrollment of 60 students. So right now that's divided over 30 twice a year. So if you were to stop enrollments in the fall, that could potentially decrease your 30 enrollments. It would be up to the board here whether or not they wanted to move that 30 enrollment to a fall, to the spring, and continue you to have the 60 enrollment. That, of course, I would defer to the campus administration as well as the NEC, because the NEC would then be tasked to, during this fall semester that you guys would be on pause, is to evaluate the resources on whether or not you can support 60 students coming into spring. Your annual enrollment is 60, that is what you're approved for. And so it would not be increasing enrollments, it would just be rearranging that. And that's something we have commonly done throughout COVID this last year. So it would not be abnormal for that to occur. I would just really want Dr. Marianne McCarthy to confirm that you have the resources to support 60 students coming in at one time this academic year versus 2 times as you've been set up to do for an academic year.
Thank you, Lori. That would include doubling the class size and doubling the amount of clinical facilities we need and the amount of clinical faculty that we would need. Instead of being able to spread that out over a year, it would be intensified in the spring.
Potentially, the school could be creative and enroll people into general education courses, half into that and half into the nursing, and look at how they're taking their enrollments in as to not cause an overload in the clinical setting. They could also look at advanced placement students as part of their enrollment, and maybe take in like some LVN to RN step-up students that would not directly impact all of one semester at one time. So again, Dr. Marianne McCarthy, as you work with that school, if that's something that the board would like to take into consideration and maybe allow for that flexibility based on, of course, again, the evaluation by you on resources and coming up with a plan on how that could be supported, we could bring that to a future board meeting to be voted on whether or not they could do that type of an enrollment cycle prior to the spring. And then by looking at that, that gives the school time to go back and look at what kind of enrollments you would want to do, admissions you would want to do. Would it be everybody going into one semester, or would you spread that over the semesters to balance that? But that way they would still allow their revenue and support of the school. Because again, when you stop an enrollment for even a pause for a school, that affects the general education courses at that school as well. They take maths and sciences and sociology courses, etc., in preparation to get into the nursing program. And if that enrollment cycle is removed, you want to kind of take that in consideration and balance that, because it doesn't just affect the nursing program, it goes out and affects all of the college.
And if I could just add, Ms. Melby, we've already accepted our students for the fall, so the pause would have to take place in a subsequent term. So that's part of our logistical challenge as well. I wanted the board to be aware of that.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
This is Lori. I have one more just comment as you guys go into vote. I know that we played a lot of attention on how this affects the school, how it affects the administration at the school, how it affects the program director and the assistant director, as well as how it affects the clinical sites and the faculty. But I really want to make sure that we are focused on what our charge is at the BRN when looking at pre-licensure nursing programs, and that is protection of the public.
Mhm.
And that is ensuring that our students are taken care of, that our students are given what they are expecting to receive when enrolling into that school and pursuing their future dreams and career aspirations. And then taking that a step further, that our students are adequately prepared to be safe entry-level practitioners into the nursing community so that they can then protect our patients. So I know that we've taken a lot of consideration into what goes on to the running of a nursing program, the running of the school, but I do want to make sure that we're also looked at what it is to take care of our students as well as our patients. Thank you.
This is Jovita. Can we just can you verbalize the motion? Because I just want to make sure I understand what we're going to vote on.
Motion.
The motion,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the motion that was clarified by Dr. Mary Fagan was that there would be a pause in enrollment. That would mean that there would be no enrollment for this fall semester, and that that motion was seconded by Ken Marlborough.
Thank you.
Jovita, would you like to open to public comment now on this motion?
Yes, thank you. I didn't know if anybody else had any more comments. If the board has no more no more comments, then I would like to open it to the public.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Catherine Hughes would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Catherine.
Hi, this is Catherine Hughes. I'm a registered nurse and the director of the Nurse Alliance of SEIU California. We represent 35,000 registered nurses across California. We represent members that have graduated from Elac College. We represent members that work in the community that Elac provides nurses to. We've worked directly with the program and offered help to Dr. Gaines in the past. We've watched this school and this nursing program fail these students year after year for many, many years. And they're failing the community because those nurses, those potential nurses that we're losing, are nurses that live in that community and serve the community. And it is a shame to see this come up again. I'm feeling somewhat hopeful that there are new administrators, and it sounds like there's a new nursing director. And I really hope that you all do your jobs this time, because it has been a travesty to this community. I'm like tearful. I'm so emotional over listening to the failure that this school has had and this program has had to the community in East Los Angeles. And I really hope that whatever the board decides, that you really do what you say you're going to do, because you're serving a community that you have been failing for years. And I mean that the college, not people, the new people that are now in these positions, but you really need to step it up, because this is unacceptable. This program is needed in this area. We can't afford to lose it. but we can't afford to do what we've been doing, continuing. These people, these young people, I've met them personally. I've met them and exchanged contact information with them. And when they leave that program, we're dashing those young people's dreams. And it can affect it more than just whether they become a nurse or not. And I really hope that the board, the school, the administration.
Thank you, Catherine. Irene Sally would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Irene.
Hello. Hello there. This is Irene Sally. I'm actually an out-of-state nurse who holds a California licensure. I'm also an RN to BSN instructor for an online university. And listening to the fate of this community college has prompted me to ask, what method of course delivery is the college utilizing with respect to non-clinical courses? Is there a consideration for hiring online faculty to alleviate some of the overload of your current faculty to support the student population who may have attendance issue attending their theoretical courses? Hello?
Thank you, Irene. Miss Jennifer Figueroa would like to make a comment. She will be talking through Dr. Chan. 1 second, please.
Oh, yes.
Go
Thank you,
ahead, Jennifer.
moderator.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Jennifer.
Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Figueroa. I'm an East LA College nursing faculty since 2013. And I just want to express that as a faculty member, along with many other faculty members at East LA College, we have worked tirelessly to try to implement every single strategy to improve student outcomes. I think I can speak for myself, but many of the faculty members that we need strong leadership and support for a director to lead this program. We also have implemented or starting to implement new admission criteria for fall 2021. So that should help with the student selection and improvement of NCLEX scores. I also helped in developing the new curriculum. I was the curriculum chair, and I can speak that all of the faculty in the med-surg and the specialties have implemented the new curriculum, except for one faculty member. And lastly, I think that we do need some more faculty so that we can have some more support and not be on so much overload. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Figueroa. Dr. Chan, did you want to speak?
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. And if I may also have more time later as the vice chair of the department to provide further information for the board. So this is my 2 minutes. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak and Happy Nurses Week. We are very much committed to the student success. It was unfortunate that Ms. Hughes shared her concerns that we have never heard of. So on behalf of the many faculty and staff, we would like to thank Dr. Christine Chandler for her leadership and many accomplishments during her tenure as the program director. Some of these accomplishments include she championed the adoption process of ATI and the HERS review for the students. She met the call to actions by facilitating Elac nursing students in participating in the COVID vaccine clinics with many community partners. She worked tirelessly to facilitate student success and repair the department's reputation. She spent many hours listening to concerns and is always available to assist students, staff, and faculty. She appreciated the strength of the faculty and the staff commitment to the program. So we are very sad that she has chosen to step down. We have tears too. This is a very amazing director. So I'm getting emotional here. So we will miss her greatly. And we also have a suggestion. We want the board members to hear us. We would like former NEC director, Ms. Mio Minato, to be a consultant for us to help us improve the program outcomes and assist with the deficiency. We understand there is deficiency, but these are not the faculty's problem. We're so tired of being labeled complacent, lazy, not working hard. This has to stop. We need administration to really bring Mio Minato on so she can work with us. And I really appreciate the chairperson, Ms. Dominguez's comment. You understand our populations. We have students with life challenges more than every other nursing program in the district, in the area. I have been in charge of the admission selection for the new cohort. We have amazing students applying to us. We have over 300 students attended the info sessions, and we got 198 applications. They're well-qualified applicants using the new multi-criteria, also addressing the equity issues.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. Jade Belmonte would like to make a comment. 1 second, please.
Hi, good afternoon.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jade Valmonte. I am an Elac faculty since 2013. And so I have been there and been a witness for the program being placed on warning, removed on warning, placed on warning. And somehow I do agree with Ms. Hughes. You know, we failed the community. We did. But I have been witnessed. I have been a witness and I have worked with amazing faculty. And Ms. Chan is right. We have worked tirelessly. We have complied to everything that was asked. And I do not want to blame anyone, but part of that is the leadership that we've had before. And I have expressed my intent to be part of that leadership to move the program forward. I was not given the chance. And so I am now the newly appointed AD that started in February, and I would greatly appreciate it if I would be given the chance to move the program forward. I have been in charge with clinical placement and faculty scheduling, and I can assure you that if we do not accept enrollment, we would lose our clinical placements. And we are having challenges also with not having enough faculty, which affects our faculty scheduling. And I could attest to what Ms. Chan is saying. I am also part of that committee screening our new student pool, and we have great student pool. So I am under the impression that I have not served a year yet, so I am not qualified to serve as a director. But if there is a way for me to serve as an interim director, I would gladly do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Belmonte. Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no other public requests for comments. Would you like me? Oh, one more. Oh, I'm sorry. There are no other public requests for comments. Would you like me to close this window?
Oh, okay. Brenda already spoke then.
She did, yes.
Then I move to vote, and I, Jovita Dominguez, vote no on the motion.
This is Dolores Trujillo. I vote no.
Sorry, Ken Marlborough.
I vote yes.
hold, Susan?
Vote no.
Mary Fagan?
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty, Betty Woods?
Woods, yes.
Imelda?
Melda, yes.
So, Reza, how many votes was that on a yes?
I think that was 4 yeses.
And
3
how many no?
noes.
4 yeses, 3 noes.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
So that carries. So that motion was to pause enrollment for a semester. Is that right?
Yes.
And the semester that was stated was fall of 2021, which my understanding has already been admitted. It's the understanding from the program is they've already admitted the full fall cohort.
Does the BRN assist them or guide them on what to do?
Well, if
Yes,
they have
our
to pause
NEC
it,
will work
I'm
towards
sorry,
that.
go ahead.
Yes, our NEC, right now, each of our pre-licensure nursing programs have an assigned NEC that they work one-on-one with. And our NEC will work with that. Our NEC is actually Dr. Marianne McCarthy, who is presenting this right now. And she will work with the school and she will bring in any additional help that she might need, up to and including myself, to attend any meetings to help the school through this process.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for the guidance. Thank you.
Okay, agenda item 8.5. Discussion and possible action regarding the recommendation to accept feasibility studies for new pre-licensure nursing programs. And the first one is 8.5.1, which is Westmont College Baccalaureate Degree Nursing Program. I'm going to be presenting Westmont because that was with Baudrey Caraway, who has retired. And joining me on the line is Dr. Carol Bellis. She's the consultant for Westmont, and I believe there were also representatives from the college with her to answer your questions. Westmont College has submitted a feasibility study to offer a new accelerated baccalaureate degree nursing program in Santa Barbara, California. They have submitted all of the required information for consideration of this feasibility study. Westmont is accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges and also the Western Senior College and University Commission. The requested enrollment is 24 students twice a year for an annual enrollment of 48 students per year. The planned start date for the program is fall of 2022. Westmont has demonstrated a plan for adequate student resources in their feasibility documents. Cottage Health, which includes Cottage and Goleta hospitals, are providing the majority of the needed student clinical sites. The college total assets of $308 million and net assets of $222 million. The college has an endowment of approximately 85 million, and more than 35 million of that total is unrestricted and can be used for any purpose designated by the Board of Trustees. The program curriculum will be taught over 16 months and requires 4 semesters. It meets BRN regulation CCR 1426. The total units for graduation is 120. The tuition for this program is $55,000. I would like to direct you to the bottom of page 143 of the materials packet. This is where Ms. Caraway has addressed nursing workforce needs in Santa Barbara County. Again, Dr. Bellis and Westmont are available should you have any questions, and this concludes my report.
Does the board have any questions or statements?
This is Imelda Ceja Butkowitz. I just wanted to ask, what is their annual fee?
You're talking about the cost of the program?
Yes, yes.
$55,000?
I know this is an ignorant question, but is that per year? So that's probably over $100,000.
No, the total to it, that's the total cost of the program. But Carol, are you available, Carol Bellis or Westmont? I want you to, because I'm getting this from Badre's report, I want to make sure that I am correct. Mark, do we have Carol on the line?
You do.
Hi, Carol. Can you hear us? I don't see or hear you yet.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys letting us talk to you. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Take a big deep breath. How's everybody doing? Yes, this is a 16-month accelerated program, and the cost of the nursing program is $55,000. Can I also introduce our president? This is President Gail Beebe. He's president of Westmont College. And next to me on my right over here is Dr. Rick Eiflin. He is our provost. And behind me, hiding, I think, is Eileen McQuaid, who is the Associate Dean of Faculty and Professor of Biology. And she has been on the ground level of getting this program together. And then we also have Mr. Doug Jones, who is our Vice President of Finance. And then we also have Steve Fellows here, who is our program consultant and program manager, project manager. And he's been instrumental in keeping this program going. Do you have any other questions?
Can I just ask a little bit about the demonstrated need in your community? I was trying to look at the document that Mary,
absolutely,
on page 143, and when I opened it, it doesn't include Santa Barbara as a separate area. Is Santa Barbara included with LA?
Well, when I did the community assessment needs for this program, I looked at Santa Barbara County. And what I found for the community assessment through both the Santa Barbara Public Health and Cottage Hospital Santa Barbara's community assessment was that although there is great wealth in Santa Barbara, there's also great poverty. And the poverty is usually on the west side and in the northern region. And through those two community assessments, we found some very similar problems like food insecurity. We found homelessness, of course, mental health as a priority, as well as lack of exercise and healthy eating. So there are identified community concerns and health disparities in the Santa Barbara County.
And you do have adequate clinical placement sites, it sounds like, at the cottage system?
Right. And actually, I'd like to just include that Cottage Hospital Santa Barbara came to Westmont and asked if they would consider a nursing program. Westmont is a Christian liberal arts college. And so it was really a partnership at first to be able to develop this program to increase the amount of baccalaureate prepared nurses, not only in Santa Barbara County, but also at Cottage Hospital and Cottage Health System, which is a 3-system hospital as well as several urgent cares. They have a wonderful big wound management clinic. They also have a Groton House pediatric specialty clinics. And really, it's quite a large healthcare system in Santa Barbara County.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
This is Kavita, do you already have students that are going, that you're looking at, or this is just?
Thank you for the question. That's a great question. Because Westmont College is a liberal arts college, we're hoping to draw students from the biology, chemistry, kinesiology, sociology, and psychology majors. We're also hoping to take students just from the general area that don't get into the Santa Barbara City College or Cal State Channel Islands, as well as the University of California, Santa Barbara. Sorry, I'm sure you guys are starving like me. My words are starting to.
This is Lori, the executive officer, and just a point of clarification, because I know this is one of the newer meetings that you're a part of. This is a request for acceptance of a feasibility study. What that means is this school is not an approved nursing program, and they're wanting the opportunity to become an approved nursing program. With the acceptance of a self-study, it does not grant them program approval. It grants them to the ability to do now a self-study that an NEC would be assigned to, and they would evaluate to make sure that they have all of the resources, the curriculum, the faculty, the clinical sites, and everything to become a school. Once that, to become a nursing program, I apologize for that. Once the NEC works with the university or college's administration, and after they've appointed a director of nursing, then it will be brought back forth in front of the board for a vote on whether or not to accept the self-study. If or when they accept the self-study, that is when they would become a nursing program and could then accept enrollments. So there should be no expectation of enrollments at this point because they are not an approved program. And it would only be on the acceptance of the feasibility and then the subsequent acceptance of the self-study that they would be able to have enrollments into a board-approved nursing program. So that is still a process that has to be gone through. That does take up to a year. If after a year they have from self-study to from feasibility to self-study, that has not been attained, then they could come back in front of the board and ask for an extension to pass the self-study phase, if that were to happen. I'm not saying that it will, but just to explain the process.
I so appreciate that, Ms. Melby. Thank you so much.
And Ms. Chair, I do want to let you know that in the feasibility study, we have asked for an enrollment of 24 students twice a year for an annual enrollment of 48. So again, as this is hopefully approved, we have our self-study finished and ready to be submitted very soon after a program director is hired.
Thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
I would like to make a motion to accept the feasibility report for Westmont College baccalaureate program.
And I second. Oh, sorry.
Who's the second? I'm sorry.
I'll second Woods.
So since we have a motion, do we take it to public speaking?
We would ask for board discussion first.
Oh, sorry. Any all board members, any discussion?
Seeing none, we would move to public comment.
Thank you. Reza, would you take us to public comment, please?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comments. Would you like me to close the window?
Ms. Reza, please close the window. So, I, Jovita Dominguez, vote yes. We'll take it to a vote. I'm sorry. We'll take it to a vote, and then I vote yes. Dolores,
I vote yes.
Mr. Marble,
I vote yes.
Susan,
I vote yes.
Mary Fagan,
Mary Fagan, yes.
Betty Wood,
Woods, yes.
Imelda,
Reja Petkowitz, yes.
sounds like unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank the board again very much for allowing us to present this to you. And I'd also like to just mention Badre Caraway. I know she's retired, but she's been instrumental in getting us guidelines and on our way. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Agenda item 8.5.2, discussion of possible action regarding recommendation to accept feasibility study for a new pre-licensure nursing program. Again, this is another feasibility study for a brand new program who has not, is just starting up for William Jessup University baccalaureate degree nursing program. And I'm going to be presenting, actually I'm not. Jeanette Wackerly is going to be presenting this program. I'm so sorry, Jeanette. Are you there? She's a supervising NEC.
I'm on. Gee, Marianne, I thought you'd go there. Thank you very much.
I'm going to take it for you. So sorry. Bye.
That's fine. Today with us is Dr. George Stubblefield. He's the Dean at William Jessup for the nursing program. And along with him is Angela Straw. She's an MSN nurse working with him. I want to kind of let you know a little bit about this school. I had the opportunity, we do tours, but you know, they're Zoom tours. So I had an opportunity to go and visit this school with the Zoom. And they are a liberal arts school, and it's in Rockland. And if you don't know where Rockland is, it's in Placer County. It's adjacent to Sacramento County. So they're the beautiful foothills just outside of Sacramento. And they have, Dr. Stubblefield has made a point to visit with the major healthcare providers in the area and has some preliminary okays in terms of the large hospitals that are located in this area. It's Sutter, Dignity, Kaiser, and the Seventh-day Adventists. The idea for this school is that they want to admit, and I have to look at it every time, the number of students. Hang on for just a minute. They want to admit 45 freshmen in the fall, this fall, if they are approved to do so. They have to do their self-study yet, so it's 45 students, and then additionally in another semester, bring it up to 60 students. I'll let Dr. Stubblefield add to that if he wishes when we have a minute to let them talk. This is a WASC accredited school in Placer County. They have WASC accreditation, as I said. They look like they have adequate clinicals to start the program. They have, they plan on having a cost of $144,000 for the BSN program. So that may be a consideration for students, but it is in line with the number of units that they're going to have. So this is a school that has worked very hard to have this come to the point that they are ready to request a BSN program. Thank you. Any questions? Dr. Stubblefield and Angela Strawn can help you.
Does the board have questions?
So right now, what is your enrollment per semester?
They don't have a nursing program yet, so you want to know their school enrollment?
Yes.
I see Angie up there. Can you tell us?
Yeah, this is actually Dr. Stubblefield.
Oh, okay.
I could probably answer that question.
Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you, Jeanette. To answer your question, it is, including our online component, it's approaching 2,000 for the university.
And you do have clinical placement spots for starting the 45 and then increasing to 60?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just as with the last school, this is a feasibility study, which means they've just done the preliminary. They now have, it now will be in the next year, as Lori stated, that they will be assigned to an NEC and submit a self-study, which will look at all the areas of requirement under regulation, and we'll present that at a future date.
Thank you.
This is only the exception of a feasibility. Thank you.
Thank you. No further questions from me.
Then we can move to I guess. Thank you.
I'm happy to help you.
Is there any
No
other
problem.
questions from the board or comments? Okay. Yeah, go ahead and move it to public comment.
Dr. Stubblefield, you have the ability to mute yourself. I couldn't elevate you to panelist, so I just unmuted your microphone, but you do have the ability to mute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will be opening up public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment."
BRN moderator, can you mute Jeanette Wackerly's mic, please?
Nanette would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Nanette.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board of Nursing. This is, my name is Nanette. I am a nurse in the Sacramento area. I am delighted to hear that William Jessup would like to integrate a nursing program into their educational curriculum. So I'm in support of it. I love getting students to teach at the bedside. So I'm really excited about this. It's great news. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanette. Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no other public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please. So I take this motion to vote. I, Jovita Dominguez, vote yes. Dolores Trujillo,
Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
Ken Marlborough,
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan Naranjo,
Susan votes yes.
Mary Fagan, is Mary on the line?
Let's just come back to her.
Okay, then
Imelda votes yes.
So we'll wait for
Betty Woods?
Betty. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Betty. Betty Woods.
Woods, yes.
And now we're just waiting for Mary Fagan, correct?
I believe we have a quorum.
Mary Fagan is not on the board meeting right now. We still have a quorum, so you can continue. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Then next on the agenda would be?
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is agenda item 8.5.3. Again, discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to accept a feasibility study for a brand new pre-licensure nursing program for the University of the Pacific entry-level master's degree nursing program. This program will be presented by Jeanette Wackerly, supervising nursing education consultant. Jeanette?
I'm unmuting myself. I'm really sorry. It takes me a minute here. With us today to present the school, the University of the Pacific is actually 3 different colleges, and I want you to be aware of it. And what we're talking about today is a school at the University of the Pacific in Sacramento for a entry-level master's in science, and this is a feasibility study. And the party who is going to be, has been the chief person to build this program. Her name is Karen Hanford, and she's on the line now. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. And who is with you today?
With me is Dr. Nicoletta Bagarnia, and she is our Dean of School of Health Sciences.
Thank you. This particular school has made every effort to look at the type of nursing program that they are going to prepare registered nurses to deal with the populations that are both in Sacramento County and in Stockton County. They are dedicating themselves to that population in terms of helping that population experience great nursing care. And I'll have Erin talk a little bit about it, but I think it's a very interesting way to look at the, these are large areas of farming, and a lot of the people that are in these areas are in need of, they have food insecurities, they have other insecurities that need wonderful nurses to help them with their healthcare needs. And so they are, of course, positioning themselves to have students to help these populations. So they're actually going to cross 2 counties, Sacramento County and the Stockton area, San Joaquin County. Did I say that correctly, Karen?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And you will have to tell us, because I'm going through this trying to find out how large is your first class going to be? What are your plans for that?
Our plans are to admit 32 twice a year.
All right.
We would start in January and then August.
And I remember in this work, you're going to leave it in that until you get CCNE approval. Is that correct? So give us a little background about, you're going to keep that level for how many years? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
We hope to succeed and get CCNE in 2003.
Okay. And that's when you will talk about or look at increasing your enrollment. All righty.
Right. We would submit a minor curriculum change.
Okay. And with this particular program, tell the board what your fee is going to be for the program. Total fee?
Total fee is 90,000, 90 units, a 6 semester over 2 years.
Or $1,000 a unit, so to speak.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And she has provided a list of clinical facilities that she's been in contact with in both Sacramento and San Joaquin for clinicals for these students. And you want to start as soon as possible. I understand that, but they still have to do their approval process, which can take up to a year. But they're aware of that. I think they have described adequate clinicals in their report. Anything that you would like to add, Karen?
Just that there's tremendous support from our clinical partners. University of Pacific has over 1,300 clinical contracts because of their 9 health science programs. So there's great partnerships. There's been extreme interest, particularly in San Joaquin County, due to the shortage of nurses. And we have an active advisory board that is providing support for recruiting faculty and students.
Okay. Board members, do you have any question?
I appreciate the information. This is Jovita.
I'd also like to invite Dr. Nicoletta to make any comments.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the board for your diligent work and our consultant as well for guiding us through this process. We are committed as a school to interprofessional education and the particular role that nurses are playing in leading interprofessional teams to provide the highest care to our patients. I think we are positioned into a community that needs higher education nurses, and we have an opportunity to shape access to care by intentionally recruiting students from Central Valley that will return to Central Valley and serve that population. Thank you very much.
Is there any other members that have a question or discussion? So therefore, I motion to accept. Would anybody second?
I will second your motion, Jovita.
Thank you very much. And this is?
That was Imelda.
Oh, thank you, Imelda. So now I believe we go to, since the board has doesn't have any other discussions, does anybody, then we can move to public comment.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder of your time as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please. So I take a vote, and Jovita Dominguez, vote yes, and Dolores Trujillo.
Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
Ken Marlborough.
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan Naranjo.
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Is Mary out?
Yes, Jovita, I will let you know when she rejoins. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Betty Woods.
Woods, yes.
Imelda Serra.
Imelda Seja-Beckwith, yes. Thank you.
It's hard to pronounce your second last name. Thank you.
Don't worry about it. Email, that's fine. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, please.
Thank you. Agenda item 8.6, discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to accept an initial self-study for a new pre-licensure program. Now, just for clarification, for those who are new, this is now people who've already gone through the feasibility study. It has been accepted by the board, and now they are in that second process of going through the self-study process, and now they're here with their self-study, awaiting approval to begin having a licensed or approved nursing program. The first program, 8.6.1, is Fresno Pacific University Baccalaureate Degree Nursing Program. I want to clarify with Fresno Pacific that they already presented their self-study and it was approved, but they're back today because they are needing an extension from June of 21 to fall of 22. So they've already been approved through the feasibility and the self-study phase. They're asking for an extension. Jeanette Wackerly will again present this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marion. This particular program was on your face page, shows you that they had some work to do in terms of building labs and getting the faculty hired. And so they have several incidences as to why they're asking for an extension. It seems reasonable that that extension could be granted if you so choose to do that, board. I think that they made their case that it's not a long extension, but it is an extension to 22. I don't have anything more to say about it, and I don't know, I have not heard from her as to whether Stacy Wise is on the phone.
Hi, Jeanette. Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Wonderful. So you can explain better than I can why you want to extend this period of time. And they have before them the sheet that you sent us that has the skills labs, the curriculum to be finalized, faculty to be hired, and other elements. If you'd like to address that for a minute.
Certainly, Jeanette. Thank you again for your support and for allowing us to present this today. My name is Stacy Wise. I'm here to request that we do extend to next fall for our start date. This will allow us ample time to complete the construction on our new lab space. We had a lab space in place, but we were able to get approval to expand it, make it larger. We are also in the process of hiring our faculty and finalizing our curriculum. So we're making tremendous progress. We have students in the pipeline who have interest in joining our program once it is formally approved. But this timeline will allow us to be as prepared as possible. And we have already been in contact with our clinical partners, and we don't have any risk of losing our clinical spots with this delay either.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
This is Imelda Seja-Beckwith. I would like to make a motion to extend from June 21st to fall 22nd in order for them to be well prepared to receive these students.
I will second that, Elizabeth Woods.
Then we open it for board discussion, if there's any more. Then we can open to public comments.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comments. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please. So we can take it to a vote. I, Jovita Dominguez, vote yes. Dolores Trujillo,
Dolores votes yes.
Ken Marlborough,
Kim Marlborough votes yes.
Susan Naranjo,
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Betty Woods,
Woods, yes.
Imelda Ceja.
Imelda Ceja, Bedgood's yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, please.
Thank you. The next agenda item is 8.6.2. And this is a discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to accept an initial study for a new pre-licensure nursing program for West Coast Ultrasound Institute Associate Degree Nursing Program. Again, they have already been approved in the feasibility phase, and they are at the self-study phase now. I'm going to be presenting West Coast Ultrasound Institute for recently retired supervising NEC Badri Caraway. And joining me on the line is Ms. Julie Jordan. She is the program director. So West Coast Ultrasound Institute submitted an initial stealth buddy to begin an associate degree nursing program, and their feasibility study has already been accepted by the board in September of 2019. The program is to be completed over 8 12-week quarters. Initial enrollment request is for 30 students in July of 2021 and November of 2021. After these 2 initial cohorts, the request is for 30 students to be admitted 3 times a year, starting in 2022, for a total of 90 students annually. The college has identified 15 clinical facilities. These facilities will allow students to have access to clinical rotations in all clinical practice areas required by licensure. This initial self-study, there was a visit conducted in February of 2021. Adequate resources were both available and planned to support this new ADN program. The program was found to be in full compliance with all of board rules and regulations. The total units for graduation is 99.5, and the program tuition and fees is $75,995, which includes ebooks, technology, lab fees, and required learning resources. I would like to direct you to the top of page 181 of your materials, where Ms. Caraway has addressed nursing workforce in the Los Angeles region. I also want to just let you know, as a point of knowledge for all the board members, that the nursing education consultants are now providing this information in their AISs on all programs that are asking for either a new program or an enrollment increase. And so you will find that information linked for you there. Ms. Jordan is available for questions, and this concludes my report. Thank you.
Do we, I motion that we accept.
I'll second your motion. Imelda Ceja, Bedgood's.
Thank you, Imelda. Can we open it for board discussion, please?
As we open for board discussion, I would like to take this minute to request that after the end of this agenda item on 8.6, that we request a 30-minute lunch break for my staff that are managing this meeting that have not been able to take a break at all. And for the board members to take a 30-minute break as well.
Definitely. Thank you. Any board members would like to have a discussion? Then Reza, could you take us to public speaking comments, please?
Just to let you know, it's Mark, not Reza. Reza's our attorney.
Oh, I am so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's Mark.
Okay, Mark, please.
No problem. Thank you. We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Dominguez, there are no public requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Please, thank you. So I take it to a vote. I, Jovita Dominguez, vote yes. Dolores Trujillo?
Dolores Trujillo votes yes.
Ken Marlborough?
Ken Marlborough votes yes.
Susan Naranjo?
Susan Naranjo votes yes.
Betty Woods?
Woods, yes.
Imelda Ceja?
Imelda Ceja Edwards, yes.
Thank you. And I believe we need a 30-minute lunch and recharge our phones. They too need lunch. And so should we say 3:35?
3:30 is fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch.